So you recently upgraded your internet connection to the fastest speed that your internet service provider offers. I'm sure that's very exciting. But you come to find out that in some parts of your home, you're not getting those advertised speeds because your Wi-Fi network is not strong enough to reach all the parts of your home. What do you do? Now, there's a few logistical things you can try, such as moving your router to a centralized location and removing any obstructions between your devices and the router. But ultimately, if you want to get the best performance out of your Wi-Fi, you typically will need to invest in better equipment. Now, the question that arises, should you buy a better router, a Wi-Fi range extender, or switch over to a mesh Wi-Fi network? Now, this is one of the more expensive options, but far and away the best option if you want to get full Wi-Fi speeds throughout your entire home and a bunch of really cool added features. Let's talk about it. There are a few brands of these devices out there, the most notable being the Google Wi-Fi, but they all essentially serve the same purpose. The one I'm looking at today is the TP-Link M5 Deco. Taking a look at the packaging, you can tell this is more of a premium device, and the premium packaging accompanies a premium price. It's $100 typically for a single puck and $250 for a 3-puck pack. It contains 3 Deco units that you are supposed to place around your home in locations where you need extended Wi-Fi. It has 3 power connectors to obviously connect the device, and then also 1 small Ethernet cable that will connect your main puck to your existing modem. The appearance of the devices is pretty understated. I think most people won't even notice it's around. It does kind of have this mid-century style to it. It's cylindrical and off-white. It's about 120 millimeters in diameter and 38 millimeters tall. You can basically fit on any bookshelf and discreetly be out of the way and out of sight. There's a very tiny LED on the top of the device that's a status indicator. Yellow means the device is starting up, blue pulsing means the device is ready for setup, a solid blue light means it's currently setting up, green is registered and functioning, and red means you are encountering some type of error. On paper, the devices seem pretty powerful considering their intended purpose. Each one has its own quad-core CPU, and they'll run at 400 megabits per second on the 2.4 gigahertz connection and 867 megabits per second on the 5 gigahertz connection. They have 4 internal antennas, 2 gigabit Ethernet ports. It has a USB Type-C charging connector, and also supports Bluetooth 4.1. I can't express how simple these are to set up, and this isn't just the TP-Link Deco, they're all incredibly simple to set up. So first you download the Deco app, and they have it for iOS and Android. You log in or sign up for a new account. One master device serves as your new router. You connect the Ethernet cable from your existing modem to either of the Ethernet ports on the back of the device. The app should then detect the first Deco. You'll select a location and give it a name. You create a Wi-Fi network, you'll give that a name, and then select a password. From there, it's pretty simple to set up additional Deco units. You simply plug them into the wall wherever you want them to be set up throughout your home. From there, you should be able to find them in the application, give it a name, or you may have to provide one if it doesn't fit the description you're going for, but really simple to set up, and you can keep adding more of these. Now, I personally got this device so I can get fast and reliable low latency internet connection upstairs. Before, if I wanted to get low latency, I didn't want to be waiting if I'm streaming or communicating with someone in real time or gaming. I had to run a hardwired connection using this long Ethernet cable from my downstairs office to our upstairs studio. So this had to run up the stairs and is obviously a bit of a safety concern and a colossal eyesore. That was the intended purpose. However, I was surprised by the really helpful functionality that the app includes. You start up the application and you will immediately be met with a dashboard. You can see all your Deco device statuses, you can also run speed tests, and see all of your connected devices. There are also a few quality of service functions. I can set one device as the priority, so if the internet speed isn't able to keep up with the demand, it will prioritize connection to a single device. And I can even set activity prioritization. So you can select a preset, which is either gaming, streaming, surfing, chatting, or downloading, or you can even manually adjust with sliders exactly how much prioritization you want on specific activities. So if you're a gamer, obviously you want that gamer slider all the way up there. If your internet speed is not able to keep up with the demand, it will prioritize devices that are currently gaming and slow down the devices that are using it for something like surfing or streaming. Now, the parental controls are really cool. You basically create a profile for groups of people using the internet in your home. There are presets that you can use, and you can fully customize them to your liking. There are categories or apps and websites you can set limitations on if you don't want them to use social media applications, or you don't want to go to specific websites, you can specify that in the application. From there, you can also block devices entirely. You can also set a bedtime which will completely shut off the Wi-Fi for specific devices. For example, you will create a kids profile, and all of your kids' devices you'll put into that profile. Then you will set rules for that profile. You'll basically specify websites you're not allowed to go to. You'll set security controls for them, and you will also set time limits for how much time they can spend on Wi-Fi every day. People in that group, only the kids' devices will stop working. You and your wife or your significant other, your devices will continue to function because you're not in the kids group. You can also set a bedtime, so regardless of how much Wi-Fi they've used that day, on a weeknight you can say the devices shut off. Really cool stuff. You can also set up a guest network, so you don't have to give out your Wi-Fi password whenever you have people visiting. You can set up a specific guest network that people can connect to. You can come up with a generic password. However, it is a much more secure way of allowing guests in your home to access your Wi-Fi. A really cool selling point of the device is the built-in antivirus and anti-malware. It has a malicious content filter, an intrusion prevention system, and an infected device quarantine, which will essentially keep an infected device from infecting other devices on your Wi-Fi network. Well, that all sounds great, but did it actually improve my Wi-Fi speed throughout my house? In a word, yes, very much so. In my office, directly next to my router, before I had a ping of 29 milliseconds, download speed of 207 megabits per second, and an upload speed of 11 megabits per second. After installing my first TP-Link puck, I noticed the ping went down to 25 milliseconds, download speed was 205 megabits per second, and upload speed was still around 11 megabits per second. The difference in speed is not really going to be noticeable in the same room as my router. I was already getting really good Wi-Fi connection in this room, so I wasn't really expecting to see much of a difference, and we didn't see much of a difference. That was basically what I was expecting. The interesting part is when we go to the devices that are set throughout my house. In my bedroom, before I was getting a ping of 24 milliseconds, a download speed of 116 megabits per second, and an upload speed of 11 megabits per second. After connecting the new device, my ping was 26 milliseconds, download speed increased dramatically to 172 megabits per second, and upload speed essentially remained the same at almost 11 megabits per second. So my ping stayed the same, my upload speed essentially stayed the same, but my download speed increased significantly. And the story continues on similar lines with the studio, which is the room we were having the most trouble with before. Before we had a ping of 34 milliseconds, download speed of just 22 megabits per second, an upload speed of 11 megabits per second, and after that increased to a ping of 23 milliseconds, a download speed of 66 megabits per second, and an upload speed of 10 megabits per second. From all this testing, I can deduce that upload speeds and ping weren't really affected too much by distance. It was the download speed that was affected the most. And for most users, this is important. For us, we do a lot of streaming and live communication over Wi-Fi, so the upload speed is really important as well as the download speed. But most importantly, I know I had okay Wi-Fi in my upstairs before, but the thing I was missing out on was reliability. Even though a speed test would show up running at a certain speed, all throughout that test, it would be dropping dramatically. It was just not a stable connection, which is fine for web browsing or maybe streaming videos, but if you want to be communicating with someone in real time or gaming especially, you really can't be having drops like that. And those, I can't really measure that with graphs or anything, but I can say that those reduced dramatically by switching over to a mesh Wi-Fi network as opposed to just relying on my router alone. So I realize this may be a bit of an expensive solution for a lot of people out there, but if you're in a home with a significant amount of square footage or your router's in an area that just doesn't cover your entire home very well, and you really need that fast and reliable internet connection, then a mesh Wi-Fi network is the way to go. You don't need to set up a million different Wi-Fi networks for every extender. They all blend together. It all registers as a single network. It comes with a bunch of additional functionality, and your internet speeds will increase dramatically. So I definitely recommend it. The one I purchased you can find in the video description below. Thanks again for watching this video. If you appreciated it or found it helpful and or insightful, then give it a like. If you didn't, then I guess give it a dislike. Go ahead and subscribe so you can know when our future content is available. Also check out these videos over here where we did reviews of other devices and PC builds. Those are always fun. And if you want to possibly get some free stuff, I always have giveaways running, and you can find the current giveaway in the video description if this video is obviously current. Well, thanks again for watching, guys, and I will catch you in the next one.